Pricing and repricing is a really important thing inside of a real estate career. And this is what you've got to realize is that if you're waiting until day 90 to go and have a conversation with your owner about price, you have completely missed the boat about where the opportunities might lie in you being able to make sure that you price properties correctly. Now, at the end of the day, it's really easy to say that pricing is easy or that a competitor deliberately overprices. But I actually think you're giving people way too much credit. Sometimes they're out of area agents, sometimes there are local agents that just don't understand the market dynamics of the day. And when you're on the ground, you really know what's actually happening to make sure that you can get a better quality price. Now let's think about the 7 different locations where pricing actually comes up. The first conversation, without a doubt, is at the market appraisal. I like to think about this as a traffic light, red light, orange light, green light. If, for example, they say $1 million, red light, they say 1-1, orange light. If he says 1-2, it's a green light and we are signing the agency agreement today. Now, what you got to realize is that that is based on a series of assumptions. We're happy to sell at 1.2 because we're trying to buy the one for 1.6. We haven't tried to buy that. That's already been on the market for maybe 90 days. And maybe we could actually buy that for like 1.450, which means that we could clearly sell at 1.1 and actually have a less changeover cost if we just made the decision to go and do it. So you've got to find out the assumptions of what is the red light, orange light, or green light price when you're going to go and work with a seller. Outside of that, we then come to the listing presentation. And this is where all of a sudden you get feedback, oh, just the other agent was so much more enthusiastic about our property and its price. Now, you've got lots of tools at your disposal. The new properties to market in the course of the last 7 days, the properties that have actually been sold in the course of the last 7 days, but then also too, talking about what's actually happening in the environment today. So how are you feeling about what's actually going on in the market? Are consumers out there like Oprah, like everyone gets a car, or are they in a position that are a bit more like frugal and maybe pulling back just a little bit? And if that's actually the case, you can actually go and have that conversation, how we had the cheapest money that we've ever had, practically free back in 2020, 2021. And now all of a sudden, by the time we get to 2024, it's the most expensive money we've ever had in the course of the last decade. And that's a really important conversation to think about the increase of a 70% increase in mortgage cost during the course of that time. Now, this is interesting because if you've got a chronic overpricer in your area, then you can keep an Excel spreadsheet around what was their original listing price, current asking price and or sale price, and what the percentage discount has been between those numbers. And that way you can actually then start to paint a bit of a picture around what you're going to do as an agent. So at step number 3, this is now your chance to be able to get a couple of buyers through at the actual photo shoot. We might bring a buyer through at $1 million, at 1.1, at 1.2, even a buyer who's got a budget of up to 1.3 or 1.4 million. Let's get them to walk through your property and see what they have to say. This then allows you to potentially adjust a guide or to change what you're doing in terms of your search pricing because all of a sudden you're getting some good live feedback of consumers that are live in market. Once we do that, we then are in a position that we get to launch. We like to launch on a Tuesday for a midweek open for inspection on a Wednesday or a Thursday. The reason why we do that is that gets us to smoke out any buyers that are in market that are particularly urgent, that are all of a sudden walking through an open for inspection because they're searching every day online to see the new properties that are actually coming on market. Once we've done that, by the time we actually get to Saturday, we should well be in a position that we're getting buyers already coming back for a second look. Either those people that came at the photo shoot time or those people that came in our first midweek open for inspection. Outside of that, we then move into a position that by day number 9, we should be getting a second appointment on the property. That should clearly have come from the open for inspection callbacks that we do on the Monday, ideally getting buyers to come back and see it Monday afternoon or Tuesday afternoon, directly after that first weekend of activity. And then by the time we actually get to day 14 in the marketplace, we should well and truly be in a position that we've actually received an offer. Now, this is a really important conversation because every single one of those points is like a benchmark or a milestone inside of the sales process. And if you're not getting buyers who are coming back for second looks or buying copies of pest and building reports or downloading copies of contracts or wanting to make offers, then you know that the campaign is seriously off track. The skill of any great agent is to actually think about those 7 steps as being locations where you can talk about price if you absolutely need to. And it's about setting up the benchmarks of what expectations should be so that naturally owners can tell straight away if the property campaign is either on or off track, and then you can provide the advisory of what we do to actually get you into a position that you can get that property sold. It's bizarre that real estate agents believe that all of a sudden you're going to go and list a property and get the pricing 100% correct. Markets change, dynamics change. All of a sudden, government make policy announcements and we've got what we go to call geopolitical events. Now more than ever before, we're working in a VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous. And it's our ability to read the conditions of the day that's going to make every difference in what we do to go to sell our existing campaigns. So I implore you to think about the metrics. How many inspections do you need to get a second appointment? How many second appointments do you need to get an offer? And then making sure that as soon as a property is outside of those metrics, that you act quickly through decisive conversations to actually make light work of what's ahead. The quicker that you get better at this skill, the more likely it is that you'll sell the listings that you take to market.